INTPs. INTPs, 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 INTPs. Ugh. Ran into a technical issue with Meetup. And so I stopped the last recording. So I think I'm just going to start there just to show you. But hey, my friend and I have started, we're bringing MBTI to the real world. We just created a event. If you happen to be in the Seoul, Korea area, me and my friend Derek here, he's an INTJ, I'm INTP. We're starting an MBTI meetup. And it's going to happen Saturday, December 7th, 3 p.m. Korea, Seoul time. So if you happen to be in the area, if you happen to be in Gangnam, you can come check that out. We're excited. It'd be good to. So I had a video about the 3%, right? Well, hey, 3%. If you're out there, we'd love to meet you. All right. What did I talk about last time? What did I talk about last time? Well, you may have noticed that things changed slightly here. On Sunday, my last video I talked about how TE emerges for INTPs, and it's absolutely true. I realized, if I'm going to meet with my friend, if I'm going to meet with Derek and we're going to do a video at 3 p.m., I'm going to have to make sure I do certain things before 3 p.m. or else I won't be able to do them. So I scheduled myself to wake up at 7, work out, and then do Arduino. What actually ended up happening was I worked out at 10, I ate at 11, and then I did Arduino from 12 to 1. So, something better than nothing happened. And that is a classic example. So I was talking last time, maybe I'll bring it up again. I was talking last time about how TE in the service of our TINE, our experimentation, is it feels very authentic, and I stand behind that statement because I saw it right there. I was like, you know what? This project is getting away of this project. How do I avoid that? How do I make sure that I can do both? Oh yeah, well, isn't that what scheduling is for? Yeah, actually, I just reinvented scheduling, didn't I? But it's TI scheduling. It's logically impossible to do both things at the same time. So organizing the time such that I can do both is only makes sense. Let me see if I can find planning here. Schedule, organization and focus. That was the one, right? Yeah. I can show you again what I was talking about. The main thing I was talking about last time was emergence. Saying like, the INTP started 5 projects and they've been wanting to do one project, but it just can't happen. So they say, okay, fine, you got me. I'll schedule it. And but if you do that, then you can't do the other thing. Oh, okay. Let me organize everything so I can do everything. So, I reinvented scheduling. But it's not. The way I see it, it's not like a calling. It's not like this like, if the world would be so much better if it just were more organized. I feel like that's the ENTP, ENTJ, ESTJ view of the world. It's like, if I just walk in here and organize more, then things will work. No, as an INTP, I say, if I walk in here and I logic things better, if I figure things out better, then things will work. That's my hero view of the world. But yeah, I scheduled Arduino, and that meetup is happening. And just projects galore or experiments galore. I learned like 3 fun little things about JavaScript at work today, and the work project is moving along smoothly. I'd like to focus on that. But that's the update. The main topic I'd like to talk about today is, let's see if I can put a word to it. Let's try and put a phrase to it, which is, okay, I'll say it in two axioms, two statements, two principles. Principle number one, humans are amazing because they are the one organism, one creature that can make sense of the world. Humans are the intelligent, rational creatures of the world, and so they can say what things mean. There you go. Humans are meaning creators. Principle number one. Principle number two, or actually corollary. As a result of this, because we are the only ones that can think, there is no one that can verify or falsify what we say. I'll connect that to this statement right here. The famous quote that was not said by Alexis Carrel. It was not. I believe it was said by. I want to say it was said by like Plato or. But man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. The main thing I want to talk about here is man is the marble and the sculptor. Or, in different words that bring home my idea is, man is both the lens. Man is both the recording and the camera. I can only make sense of the world through my own eyes. And as Feynman says, the first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. This is the fascinating thing about humans, is the only way we can make sense of the world is through our own eyes. And yet it is also our own eyes that are the most capable of fooling us. So where else do we look? Well, I think the INTP way, the beautiful INTP way, is to simply be skeptical and ask a ton of questions and hold no opinion strongly. Stand on sand. That's the idea. So that's let's see if, okay, looking over everything. That's a theme I want to talk about today, which is just focusing, having us look at the idea, this thing that I think is true, which is the only way you can see the world is, okay, I can even say this. You think you see through your eyes, right? But a baby looking out at the world sees nothing, because the baby doesn't know anything. Therefore, you may make the statement that we don't see through our eyes. We see through our mind. We see through our beliefs. You have seen a face before. Oh, well, faces are maybe an exception. Maybe, like, babies have been seen to recognize faces from birth, but before you knew what olives were, you would have no idea what that bottle is. So which one sees the olives? Is it your brain or is it your eyes? Well, the thing that has been explored by many, by spiritual teachings, by philosophers, by religions, is this idea that your eyes do not see anything except for what your brain is told to see. So let's keep going. Another idea that is linked to this that I find beautiful is, okay, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to the Hermetic Principles. There's a book, the book I was introduced to these through was The Kybalion, which is a spiritual book, but the one I'd like to talk about here is The Principle of Polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites, like and like, unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet, and this is the part that I wanted to talk about most, is all thoughts are but half, all truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Now, why is this last part true? Well, it is once again a corollary to what we're saying. The only way man can see is through his own eyes. And who is the person that verifies that what the eyes say is true? Man. And so we run into this issue of this, like, if you've ever heard the statement, it's turtles all the way down. It's turtles all the way down. This is the conundrum we run into. So in a way, you can say that what I'm talking about here, like I'm making like the INTP's apology for spirituality. You can speak in grand terms like that. So, by the way, this is linked to the to Douglas Hofstadter's books, Godel Bach, I Am a Strange Loop, because self-reference is the destruction of logic. That's what we've come to see, because that's what paradox means, right? Paradox. This statement is false. Oh, well, if it was true, then the statement is false. But if it's false, then the statement is true. So what's true? So like self-reference, which humans must do in order to understand what meaning is the destruction of logic. This is another statement that is related. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. Because the question is, how do you know? And history, I would almost define history as a series of events we thought were impossible. That's what it means when something made history. We all said, "Wow, that's possible too." Well, I guess we'll call that person great now. Here's a somewhat related idea. Maybe I'll do a video on spiral dynamics, but so I'm talking directly about spirituality here. There is a system called spiral dynamics, where you do come from a very basic and mythical way of seeing the world, which is like it's pre-rational. That's how they say in spiral dynamics. And then you go into the rational era. This is, the Enlightenment, and many cultures have gone through this. Like the whole world really went through, like the modern world went through this. But then there is trans-rational, which is, so quantum mechanics talks to this. By the way, we can go to one of the laws here that basically says, that basically talks about quantum mechanics. Well, the first one, I'll just say that's the closest one I can think of that says all is one. Actually, that's more polarity. All is one. The separations are illusion. And so when I say that, and we're discovering this more and more in science, we start talking about trans-rational. Oh, wow. The truth that I said before, well, it's only true from this perspective. It is but a half-truth. And so we move once again into something larger than rationality. They talk about people that conflate the two, pre-rational and trans-rational. They talk about this being like a pre-trans fallacy. People think that, the people that are into spirituality are like, oh, you're just going back into the Stone Age. What are you doing? Well, no, it's actually talking about how reality is larger than the lines we draw. What else do I have here for you? What else do I got here for you? Here's another one that's also somewhat related. But I'm just, uh, you know, uh, as a fellow INTP, you may understand that the narrative, I'm laying the points out, and you can connect them. So I think the NJs out there, if you're an NJ watching, I think you would appreciate it. I think you would be able to see the lines. As an NTP, you would also be able to see the lines. I'll think about why that's true, but I hope you can see how these are all related. Here's another one. Are you lucky? Well, it turns out if you believe you're lucky, they did a psychological study. If you believe you're lucky, and then you flip through a newspaper to find the number of pictures, you'll get $100 if you count the number of pictures. And before they did this, they interviewed the people saying, "Are you lucky?" And it turns out there were shortcut clues strewn throughout the newspaper. One saying, "Stop counting. There are 42 photographs in this newspaper." There's another one. "Tell the experimenter you've seen this ad and collected $100 now." They found, and I'll look it up and we can verify together how true this is. They found that the people that considered themselves lucky saw the ads and collected their money. The people who thought themselves unlucky did not see these messages. Now, I ask you, what caused them, like what was going on? What I suggest is, as I've been talking through this, you do not see with your eyes. You see with your mind. You see through your beliefs, and thus the shifting of your beliefs, as these teachers have been talking about, is how you change what you see. We are not rational. We are not rational. I feel like there's a Bible verse linked to this. At first I was blind, but now I see. At first I was blind, but now I see. Because once again, what is blind? Well, what I'm exploring here is what is blind is the person's mind. They did not know. They did not know to look in a certain direction. And as humans that have no other way to verify what we can see, if we do not know, then we cannot see, and it doesn't exist in our minds. But once you can see, then you can never unsee. And it now is real. So that's one way you can think about manifestation. Manifestation can simply be, hey, it's right there. But because of the set of beliefs you currently carry and your current worldview, it's not there. You cannot see that it's there because your current mindset is not organized such that it comes into view. I'm reminded of another image. Of when Neo in the Matrix is killed, comes back, he gets up and looks around, and he sees through everything. He sees the machine. He sees that the entirety of his reality was a construct. I've been reflecting on this a lot too, about how, in very much the same way, by the way, I think this is why The Matrix was such a big hit, because it touched something unconscious in us. That in the same way as the Matrix building a world around someone and they can't see anything else, the same thing happens with our own minds. Isn't it strange that You can't see anything else except for what you believe is there. There's so many things I can link to this. I'll say something else. Carl Jung, people talk about synchronicity, right? People talk about this idea of synchronicity. Carl Jung brought it up probably first. A synchronicity is when you think about something and suddenly it happens. You see it happen in front of you. Well, perhaps what happened is just like as soon as I tell you about a certain kind of car and I show you it, you start seeing it everywhere. Same thing happens. You thought about it, so now your brain is looking for it, and now you can finally see it. And the crazy thing about this is it is all unconscious. Have you ever done this exercise where I say, okay, look around you, look on my screen, and find everything that is the color orange. Okay? You see them all? Okay? And then now you close your eyes and I ask you, okay, do you remember anything that was the color green? And it's pretty clear that no, because I wasn't looking for green. So it's quite practical, this is what, by the way, neuro knowledge, the guy that I've been learning from very recently, spiritual teacher. See, the word spiritual can be translated really to mean just like unconscious mind, and how much, or like this whole idea of like what is the nature of your reality. The nature of your reality perhaps is just your perspective. But what I've been learning is how this is the way that my reality is constructed. And if that is true, then what? Then how can I adjust myself so that I can see the things that are closer to what I desire? Well, that links all the way into all of these recent studies or movements, or things being taught. Neville Goddard, law of attraction, affirmations, impressing the subconscious mind. Yeah. So to be honest, I've been spending like 90% of my day every day visualizing, repeating affirmations, and it's incredible to see that things move like crazy. I mean, you did that little thing saying like, oh, where's all the orange, right? If you're looking for what you're looking for is all you'll see. Just as you saw with that orange in the screen. And it kind of opens your eyes to the idea that 99% of just 99.999% of things you do not see, because your mind is not built, is not oriented in that direction. You are a camera, and your camera is focused on certain things. Your camera is focused on the things that you grew up focusing on. So, this video is going well. Yeah, I feel like I want to leave you with that, but there's absolutely like the next steps you can do about that. There's the next. I mean, this is a whole discipline. We've been talking about this for as long as humans have been alive. I mean, this, like, to me, a lot of Jesus' teachings are about this. Like, oh, it did not happen. It happened as you believed. It happens as you believed. You of little faith. They couldn't see it, and so their brains could not lead them in that direction. What they saw was what they wanted to see. Whether you can or you can't, you're right. what I currently see about the world is only what is in my unconscious perspective. Isn't that crazy? Like, what is the biggest difference between a confident person and a low confidence person? What they see about themselves, what they see about the world, what they see about the people around them. That's the biggest thing. I mean, when you meet someone who is confident and happy, I propose that there is no reason for them to do so, but because they feel so, other people interact with them as such, and their life becomes that. It's all self-fulfilling prophecy. So that is the wonderful thing that I've been like just pouring time into. MBTI is really related to this. Yeah, I will link the meetup. So if you're in the Seoul area, you can join us. But I also implore you to look into the subconscious mind, especially if you're an intuitive, ask yourself the question: what do I actually see? Maybe what I see is not real. Do you think that's air you're breathing? But I've also been. I'm gonna rewatch The Matrix. Oh, that's another video I will post, which is like the 5 favorite movies of an INTP, at least for me. And they all have a similar theme of what I'm telling you right now, which is maybe reality is not all it seems. Is there anything else I'd like to talk about with this? Wake up, Neo. Follow the white rabbit. Oh, white rabbit. I don't know. I love this stuff though. I find it incredible, and I think it's so true that it transcends truth, and that's why I think it's awesome. And it's quite related to any extroverted intuition, asking the question, well, what else is possible? Well, it turns out, I would actually say maybe spirituality, maybe this whole world of ideas is the exploration, is the scientific exploration of that process of finding out what else is possible. And history, once again, is the record of the times when humans discovered that something else was also possible. I'll leave it at that. And I will see you in the next post. Au revoir. See ya.